What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of Loot Chest on Tasty Loot Gaming. In case you don't know, Loot Chest is a show where we talk about a random subject in gaming. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Cody.
And this Loot Chest, we're going to be talking about a really cool topic that Cody brought up. Soundtracks in gaming. What are our favorite ones? Okay, and for our last soundtracks, let's start with you.
So, I was going to say Chrono Cross, but I am...
But I nailed it. I got it early.
Someone else agreed with me. So, I'm actually going to go with Chrono Trigger on this one.
Ooh, people are going to love you for that.
And this was kind of weird, too, because, like, usually I don't like listening to, like, 16-bit era music. A lot of times it's catchy. Like, earlier I used the example of Mario and Sonic. Like, those are iconic, and you know them, but, like, I don't generally want to sit around and listen to the soundtracks of those games.
It's like just drilled in your head.
Chrono Trigger, even at like work to this day, like I'll occasionally whistle the main theme to that song.
How's it go? I'll have to listen to it.
So,
yeah, that was good.
but
Like a bird.
Songbird, baby. Jailbird.
but it's another example of one of those games that when the music is playing, they've done such a great job of like every scene has a song that just fits so well with it. Like when you're in the carnival in the beginning, you got the really like fanciful, not fanciful, it's probably not the word I'm looking for, but it's very joyous and it sounds like a celebration when you're there. And then, when you're in between times when you're in and I'm gonna screw up all the names here, but essentially in the void in between all the different timelines and stuff, there's this really subtle music happening there, and it feels mysterious and like you're in this place, and it really supports that. So I don't know, it's really interesting because the limitations of the time for the music, how well they did. So, and I do like listening to it.
I'm not admittedly too well versed on the Chrono Trigger soundtrack. Sorry, but I have heard 1,000 times over that is fantastic. It's on a shitload of lists. And it's really cool that you bring that up because we've essentially brought up, interestingly enough, mostly Japanese games, which we talked about a little bit, which is really interesting. But also, we've brought up a lot of like modern, orchestrated, actual real music, guitars, orchestras, singing, soundtracks. So it is cool to kind of pay the respect to back in the day when you had 16 bits and you had to kind of have those simple one-layered songs that are just like do 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 do, like that kind of stuff, which is really cool. I played Chrono Trigger. I've never beaten it, but I actually didn't get that far at all in it. But from what I heard about it, it does have a very good reminiscent, old school RPG vibe to it. I'm sure the songs get greater or better. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to that. What do you think?
Same with you.
Yeah.
It's little. I mean, Chrono Cross is one thing, but like Chrono Trigger, I don't. I'm not too.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. Okay. Sorry.
Sing high.
But no, yeah. I mean, if you were to go through and actually like just listen to certain songs, obviously they're going to mean more when you're playing the game. But if you listen to them, it is very impressive the amount of detail they get with the limitations. And I think that it is just enough that you can listen to it outside of the game. So
Definitely. And I'm going to be adding the music to the video, so I'll get to kind of check that out.
yeah.
What's your final pick? Or any honorable mentions also. Doesn't matter.
Either or.
Well, or both, but keep the...
I'm going with, and it's gonna sound like I'm sucking Rockstar's dick, but
Well, you are, though. You love Rockstar.
yeah, I do. Red Dead Redemption.
Really?
I've seen that on so many lists.
I love the soundtrack to that game. Like, it's very good.
The whole
and
thing of the Mexico sequence.
And that's what I'm...
Because it's great.
It is great.
Okay.
I just love Western stuff, so immediately it's just like the whole thing to it has this like, I don't know, it brings the whole game together. Because it's different. I mean, you had Red Dead Redemption, or Red Dead Revolver, but Redemption
Loved
was...
that game.
Yeah, it was very good.
Played the shit out of it.
But this one was different because you had Grand Theft Auto and you had those games where, I mean, Vice City, even 3. I can't really remember anything from 3, but Vice City was very like had its own thing, but also adding music, like the radio, for example, was like that was most of what anybody from any Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah.
They grew or bands that they put into the radio sequence. This was completely done by someone. Like
Absolutely,
it's
completely
like a
composed.
movie, like
Composed,
composed.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
But the Mexico sequence for sure.
Absolutely.
Because I remember, but it's very iconic, riding into Mexico for the
Yes.
first time, and it's just awesome.
It's a
it's
great
just
part of the
very,
game.
Like,
It's arguably the most memorable part of the whole game.
Yeah. And you're going to a new area that you haven't expected, which is completely different. You're like, it's west, but you're like, hey, Mexico. Oh, wow. But I remember I was riding on the tracks when that happens. It was just like, oh man, this is freaking great. This was one of the only games that I stood in line for at midnight to get.
Two things that I'll support that game for sure in the soundtrack is the scene in Mexico was a surprise because I was playing the game. It happened without really, because I played the game when it came out like everybody else, and like I got to experience it organically. And as you go on this journey after you're shooting all these people on the river and shit, and you finally make it, and you get on your horse, start riding in, and it plays this really, really cool song with the guy singing and stuff. It was really fucking cool. It was a good introduction to a new area. But also before the game came out, there was a trailer for the game, and it had this very like, just like wow, just fucking like just the trumpets, just fucking shit like that, which I love. It reminds me of like Sergio Leone, like spaghetti westerns and shit.
Yeah.
And I have a fucking affinity for that shit. I love those that kind of music in westerns. I love westerns, and I love that just big, bold, grand music that's more big than a couple guys in the desert with fucking revolvers should be, but it just elevates, and I keep saying that, but it really does. All these things that we've mentioned so far elevate the games. That's why we're talking about them. But it just like got me fucking pumped for the game because first off, Western games is a rare thing. It's not a fucking common thing in any way. You got Gun, which who gives a shit, and then you got fucking Red Dead franchise. And what Rockstar does, man, is they just do fucking games big. They don't fuck around. And the soundtrack just really blows that game up more than it is. I mean, not more than it is. The game's fantastic, but it feels authentic. It brings the authenticity to the game and has a soundtrack that really is what the game deserved. It makes you feel like you're playing one of those old westerns.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It means like the production value was amazing. Kind of in the same vein, honorable mention, Last of Us.
Absolutely.
It's very the Spanish guitar.
Oh yeah. It adds to the desolate feeling of this empty world that you're not necessarily living in the apocalypse anymore. You're living past it. How can you survive in this world that's existing and whatever? But you have to live with what's going on and the consequences and the things you've had to do, whatever. And I think the soundtrack does absolutely play into that just desperate times aspect of it.
Because it's almost the same thing as like the transition, like same for the Red Dead Redemption, like when you're going into a new area. A lot of like the main cutscenes to that game have just like really like almost like one tone guitar happening, and it's just like amazing. Like it just sounds
really adds to the
so well,
of everything.
Yeah, and it's just like very ominous and like very just
And even the ambient tracks, especially in the part where spoiler alert, Joel falls, gets the rebar through his stomach, and when you're walking, you have this really low ambient tone that just adds dread to the situation. Really kind of pushes that this is desperate, this is dire.
It's like Uncharted 2.
Exactly. And Ellie's trying to get you the fuck out of there, but at the same time, Joel is not the type of dude who wants someone to carry him out, so he's trying to fucking do it on his own, but he can't anymore.
Right.
And you love Joel and Ellie, you don't want to see him fucking die there, and that's that scene with just how quiet and ominous that sound is. You don't know if Joel will make it. You assume he will, but like it's very convincing.
It's weird how the music in game like that'll make you think that.
Absolutely. And
shit. If he dies, there's no more game left.
Absolutely. Stick with Ellie, and I don't want Ellie to be alone. That sucks. Absolutely. Definitely good picks. Any opinions on those?
So Red Dead's a weird one for me because like I played it a little bit and I got to Mexico, and I remember that scene being like, I remember going, oh wow, that's a nice touch, but
you're just a good surprise because the rest of the game didn't really set that up.
I can't think of a single thing in that game, either like gameplay or music wise, that I could even recall right now.
I mostly remember a lot of the multiplayer because I spent a shitload of time on that. It was fucking
Yeah, I remember being
harassing
killed over
kids.
and over
It's a
freaking
big
again.
blind
But
spot.
I
For
chased
me,
after
so-
kids, shooting them, children in the West. I was just chasing after them, like, oh no, 919's coming! I fucking just kill
I just
them.
remember Rob just sitting on top of a cliff, just like
Oh,
murdering
dude,
people.
that sounds like Rob. That's what Rob would do if he could.
So that killed it for me a little bit because
Yeah.
just that's all Rob would do. It's just like it drops down, just like watch this. This guy's wanted.
Watch this, I'm a fucking
Anyway.
sociopath.
But
Yeah, and I don't really have a lot on that one. Unfortunately, I just don't have any knowledge to add to it.
it was just different. And what we're saying, it's just different from any of Rockstar's games because, like I said, I mean, like even Vice City, and I know Grand Theft Auto 3 had a thing.
Time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, but it did have its own thing. It was, I mean, Vice City did have its own soundtrack, but definitely when you think of those games, you think of the music that's done by other people. It's all on the radio and shit like that.
Right.
But Red Dead Redemption was like its own thing. It was like I don't know the first time they did that. Even I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 was like they did its own thing too. Even though you're in cars most of the time, so they're having all these radio
Definitely,
stations.
and that's
but-
something that I didn't even think about either. Is Rockstar typically, in their newer games, they have made their own soundtracks to like Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's a bigger and more cinematic experience than the other games. But normally you're playing off of just songs that we already know or should know, and just kind of brings you into like this is real, this is modern day, blah 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 blah. But fucking Red Dead actually has, like I said before, an authentic soundtrack that really kind of plays onto what you would expect from an actual Western, and I think that absolutely supports its authenticity in the game itself. Good pick.
And yet another non-Japanese game. So.
Yeah.
America.
And to stick with the trend of Japanese games, but before I pick my third pick, honorable mention, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The soundtrack to that, I fucking love. From the beginning of the game to the song later, Tragic Prince. I know the fucking name of the song. I fucking love that song. It has a fucking fantastic soundtrack. I love that. Everyone loves Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
And then also another honorable mention, the original Sonic the Hedgehog. I have every single Zone's theme ingrained in my fucking brain forever because that was a part of my childhood. And I love all the songs. They bring me back to a simpler time.
Right.
And they're so fucking catchy, it's stupid. But my pick is I was gonna pick Silent Hill 2 because Silent Hill 2 started it all with the soundtracks of Silent Hill. But I have to go with Silent Hill 4. Silent Hill 4, and you actually said that, either Silent Hill 2 or 4. Silent Hill 4 has a fantastic soundtrack that builds upon what was already kind of set with Silent Hill 2 and 3. Silent Hill 2 and 3, not to lower them, they have amazing soundtracks that I listen to regardless of the game. Because like I said, I love Akira Yamaoka. But Silent Hill 4 has this amazing soundtrack that has these really great ambient tracks, these really gritty tones. They have these really good fucking industrial tracks that are fucking insane, but also some very, very important songs for me personally, considering that a lot of the soundtracks of Silent Hill, especially 4, and a lot of the cinematography in their trailer designs has actually inspired me musically and in what I have done visually in videos. So above anything else musically in games, it's actually affected me as a person who creates content. I love the music as much as people kind of downplay 4 as a Silent Hill game. I think it's absolutely a Silent Hill game. It's a fantastic game, but the soundtrack is almost better than the game, and it's one of the only games I can say that for. It's just great fucking tracks from beginning to end. Really memorable ones, songs I could sing. I don't know the lyrics. I love Silent Hill 4's soundtrack so fucking much. It just really captures the tone, and was the last Silent Hill, real Silent Hill, and the last Silent Hill soundtrack that we really got, and it was a really great, way to end that franchise until they made shitty ones.
Right.
Any opinions?
I actually like I said, I almost picked this one too. It is a very good soundtrack, and it has probably my favorite song in any Silent Hill game. I believe it's called Room of Angel.
Yeah, which I love that song.
Absolutely amazing song. So, I mean, pretty much what you said. I don't have a lot more to say about it. It's just like it was almost my pick. My only argument about that was, as a complete album, I think Silent Hill 2 is better to listen to outside of the game. So.
Silent Hill 2 has this great, cool vibe to it, which I love. Silent Hill's got this really cool, just like, more cool than it should with a horror game, and that's what really kind of sets the tone for the Silent Hill games. But Silent Hill 4 has this really dark, alone feeling, really encapsulates the idea of the room, being stuck in this room and going to other places that are mysterious. But and Room of Angel is fantastic and is a great fucking intro to the game. The cinematic is fantastic, but it also has these tracks that have these great muted sounds that I try and replicate. These reverse sounds that work together so well, and just the way the songs are structured, that I'm envious of. I hear them, and not only am I enjoying it, but I'm also like, how can I fucking do this musically? It's so creative. Outside of just the guitar work, which you can replicate easily, but like when it comes to the digital sounds and the sampling and all that shit, and I know I'm going a little too far into this. I admire that soundtrack. I admire everything Akira Yamaoka has done, but that soundtrack has some songs that I'm just like, how the fuck did he do this? Which I love.
Yeah. Any opinions?
I never played it, but we listened to it a little bit earlier, and same thing what I was saying with 2. It's just like those games were meant to make you feel like sitting alone, and when shit goes crazy, it's supposed to make you feel like you're going crazy and backed into a wall and no hope. Sounds creepy.
Just to sum it up though, I feel like most games, soundtracks elevate and support the game. I feel like the soundtracks in the Silent Hill franchise, 4 of course, but also 2, 3, are not what they should be without those soundtracks. Those soundtracks create 50%, in my opinion, of what Silent Hill really is, and that's why it is my favorite of all the soundtracks, just because of the personal impact it's had on me, but also how much Silent Hill owes to the soundtrack itself. But yeah, that's my last pick.
And to what Silent Hills could have been.
I do have some honorable mentions I want to bring up real quick.
Throw them out there.
So when we were when you told us we were going to be doing this, and I started doing a little research I noticed that on one list, the top song or top soundtrack was Ico.
Yeah.
And I was
just weird.
Really really? I'm not too familiar with this. I played the game a long time ago, and I never came back to it. So I went ahead and I listened to pretty much the entire soundtrack, and actually I kind of get it. I wouldn't call it my first, and it's not even on my my big list, but it is a very well-made soundtrack.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance and you have some free time, it's actually worth listening to.
I think Team Ico, all their games, though, have these really beautiful fantasy-esque songs that really encapsulate the sense of wonder that those worlds just want you to explore. And Ico absolutely was the first of that kind.
It was a really pleasant surprise. So.
Yeah.
On the same vein, Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, that
also
actually same thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually it goes back to one of my picks is Dark Souls, but it's that same thing. It's like most of the game is very quiet until you get to a boss scene, and it's just like, or a boss fight, and it's like very intense.
Right.
Like that is like the epitome of like being anxious. Like you're just like, oh, you're trying to climb this giant monster, and it's just there's a lot going on. The sounds, like the slamming of the Colossus, but yeah.
Honorable mention I just thought of real quick, and it's because I'm a huge fan of the guy, Michael McCann in Deus Ex: Human Revolution. This is a soundtrack that's better than the game. It is a fantastic fucking score. It overhyped me for the game. I enjoyed the game. The boss fight sucked. But the soundtrack was, and the trailer was so much better than the fucking game.
So
the game could have captured that. Would have been one of my favorite games ever made. is fucking fantastic. And outside of that soundtrack, Michael McCann has some songs that should be in movies that are not, and they're fucking fantastic. I believe there's a song called Watchtower. I'll probably play it in the video. It is fucking amazing. I love that guy. He needs to do more work. He also did the music for Splinter Cell Double Agent, which was great. That game was okay. He has a curse of making amazing music that is in undeserving games.
That sucks. Yeah.
Because Deus Ex could have been the fucking the Metal Gear Solid of fucking Eidos, and it's not. But the music's so fucking good, it's stupid.
Do you have any more mentions, or? So I got one more.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of the soundtrack itself, but the end credit song in Mass Effect.
Oh,
That song is great.
dude.
I'm not a, like I said, the soundtrack doesn't really do anything for me. That song I love.
Oh, dude, 3 fucking. Oh, dude. Yeah, dude, Fonts.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking good. That is a
you got
really
me
good.
before.
Yeah.
I never beat Mass Effect 1, but you showed me that
I
song.
forgot that
and I
song,
couldn't.
man.
amazing.
So good.
That song is amazing on its own, but then you're just like, oh yeah, this is from Mass Effect 1, and I'm like, dude, after beating a game like that and having this song play, it's crazy.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that, what's that song called?
Dude, I have not thought about the song in years, man.
It's like,
I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll
Mark
put it in
II.
the video. Mark II, absolutely.
Mark II.
That's it.
Look it up. It's amazing. Crabs.
Or here.
King of the Hill.
It's fucking really good. I forgot about that. I thought you were talking about like more like Mass Effect 3.
No,
fucking
like I said,
Nolan
the
shit.
soundtrack.
Yeah, that's a really
song
good.
is
It's a
good.
really good send off.
Yeah.
It almost, in a weird way, didn't fit the rest of the soundtrack of the game, but it worked.
I think it's just because that game had such an old school sci-fi vibe to it.
Absolutely.
And that
They're going
song
for that
is
70s thing in the
totally
first
that
game, and
vibe,
yeah.
So.
Dude, I still go back to that song sometimes. But
Dude, I
No,
haven't
it's great.
thought about this song
and
in
it's
fucking
funny
years,
because Michael
man. Michael McCann?
Michael McCann, that was a similar one where I was like, I fucking love those songs, but the rest of the soundtrack.
The soundtracks, yeah, whatever. The rest,
So-
the rest of Deus Ex is just, oh, and it's like, okay, yeah, we get it.
But yeah,
Um,
rare gems. Is everyone's weird?
Definitely. But yeah, I think it's going to do it for this loot chest on Tasty Loot Gaming. Thank you for watching this long episode. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite soundtracks in gaming are. Feel free to fucking put a couple down there. I'm curious to know. I'm sure Zelda was missed on this and a couple other ones. But as always, thank you for watching. Make sure to check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, Tasty Loot Gaming. Check us out on twitch.tv, Sleep Division, all one word. Make sure to like and subscribe if you liked this video. And my name's Seth.
And I'm Chevy.
I'm Cody.
And have a good weekend, guys. Come back next week for Taste Tuesday. And until then, we will see you later.